Have you ever gotten to the end of the day and just felt completely, totally drained, like your brain has run a marathon, even if you barely left your desk? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into the real science behind why we all feel so distracted and exhausted, and most importantly, what we can actually do to fight back. Wow, let's just start with that. That is a powerful and honestly, a pretty scary comparison. It really frames this whole issue, doesn't it? It suggests our digital habits aren't just a simple lack of willpower, but that we're actually in a struggle against products that were intentionally designed to hook us. It really sets the stage for what we're up against. So, this is it. This is the core question we're trying to answer. It's a feeling I think we all know way too well. That sensation of being mentally scattered, like you can't hold a single thought and you're just completely wiped out. Well, the answer turns out to be this fascinating mix of technology, our own psychology, and some really cool neuroscience. To really get a handle on the problem, we first have to understand the world we're living in. We're in something called the attention economy. It's basically a world where your focus, your eyeballs, your clicks, your screen time, that has become one of the most valuable resources on the planet. You know, what's so wild when you look at this timeline is just how innocent it all seemed at first. Remember? The first iPhone wasn't sold as this portal to constant distraction. It was basically an iPod that could also make phone calls. And Facebook, it was just a simple way to see who was in your classes. But everything changed in 2009, the like button. That one little feature completely transformed the game by tapping into our deepest human need for social approval. It created this compulsive loop of posting and checking, and that loop became the engine of the entire attention economy. So in this crazy new environment, we've developed what we think is a superpower to cope. Multitasking, right? We try to answer an email while we're on a Zoom call, while also kind of keeping one eye on our phone. We feel like we're being so productive. But the science tells a very, very different story. And this slide just lays out the core misunderstanding perfectly. Our brains don't actually multitask. They can't. It's a biological impossibility. What we're really doing is something called task switching, just rapidly toggling our attention back and forth. And every single one of those switches, it comes with a price. I love this phrase, cognitive residue. It's such a great way to picture it. When you switch from, say, writing a report to checking a quick email, a part of your attention gets left behind, still thinking about the report. The more you switch, the more of this mental gunk builds up, and the worse you perform on everything. It's what Cal Newport calls a productivity poison. So you'd think the people who multitask all the time would be great at it, right? Well, researchers at Stanford, led by a guy named Clifford Noss, wanted to find out. They assumed they'd find these cognitive superheroes. The results? He said they were absolutely shocking. The heavy multitaskers were terrible. Just terrible at every single skill they tested. They couldn't filter out irrelevant stuff, their memory was a mess, and get this, the great irony is they were the absolute worst at the one thing they thought they were best at, switching tasks. Okay, so why? Why is all this constant switching so incredibly draining? Why does it leave us feeling like a zombie at the end of the day? To answer that, we've got to peek under the hood and look at the neuroscience of what's actually happening inside our brains. Think of your brain as operating with these huge, large-scale networks. You've got one for intense focus. That's the focus network that lights up when you're solving a tough problem. And then you have another one, the daydream network, that takes over when your mind wanders. As you can see from these scans, they are totally distinct systems, and they are in a constant battle for control of your mind. So who decides which network wins the battle? Well, that decision is made by this third, super important network called the salience network. It's basically your brain's air traffic controller. Its job is to scan everything, your thoughts, your environment, for what's important or salient, and then it directs your mental resources to that thing. A notification buzzes, an email pops up, someone walks by your desk. It's the salience network that yanks your attention over to it. Now, why does all this switching matter so much? Because your brain is an energy hog. I mean, look at this. This slide is just incredible. That 2-pound organ is burning through a fifth of your daily calories just to keep the lights on. It is running on a very, very tight energy budget. And here is the absolute kicker. Focusing our attention, and especially switching that focus, is the most metabolically expensive, the most energy-intensive work our brain can possibly do. Every single time your salience network has to redirect that spotlight of attention, it's burning precious fuel from a limited tank. That's why multitasking isn't just inefficient, it's an unaffordable fool's errand. All right, so all of this, the constant switching, the massive energy drain, it all leads to a very real and debilitating consequence that messes with our judgment, our mood, and our ability to function. It's called decision fatigue. Just look at that number. 35,000. Let that sink in for a second. From what to wear, to what to eat for lunch, to whether to click on that link or answer that text, every single one of those choices, no matter how tiny, chips away at our mental stamina.
And this is the official definition. It's not just feeling a little tired of making choices. It's a state of what psychologists call ego depletion, where your willpower battery is so drained that your ability to reason, to make good trade-offs, and even just to control your impulses is genuinely, measurably impaired.
And this is what it actually looks like in real life. You've probably felt this. Behaviorally, it's why you procrastinate on that big project at the end of the day, or make an impulsive purchase online. Cognitively, your brain just starts looking for shortcuts, which leads to bad choices. And this one's amazing. It even affects you physically. Studies have shown that when you're decision fatigued, you literally have less physical stamina.
And the stakes, they can be incredibly, terrifyingly high. This is a chilling, real-world example. A simple text about a party, a tiny, momentary distraction, completely flushed the doctor's working memory. That cognitive residue we talked about, it led to a critical, catastrophic error. This isn't just about losing a few productivity points. This stuff can literally be a matter of life and death.
Okay, so that was the problem. And I know it sounds pretty daunting, but here's the good news. There is a way to fight back. There's a path to reclaim our focus, our energy, and our sanity. And the solution lies in a philosophy called digital minimalism. This is the key insight from Cal Newport, and it's really important to get this right. This is not about hating or rejecting technology. It's about being intensely intentional. It's about becoming a ruthless bouncer for your own attention. You ask one simple question for every app and service in your life. Does this thing strongly support something I deeply value? And if the answer isn't a loud, clear yes, you happily let it go. So how do you actually put this into practice? Newport lays out this brilliant 3-step plan called the digital declutter. Step 1, you take a full 30-day break from all the optional tech in your life. Step 2, and this is crucial. During that break, you actively work to rediscover high-quality, real-world activities that you find satisfying. Then, and only then, comes Step 3. You carefully and with extreme intention reintroduce only the tools that truly add massive value to your life, but on your terms. This is all part of a larger movement that you can think of as the attention resistance. And it's built on these kinds of practical, everyday strategies. Things like leaving your phone at home on purpose when you go for a walk so you can experience real solitude. Or replacing 100 superficial likes with one real phone call. It's about turning your do-everything smartphone back into a simple, single-purpose tool when you need to get something important done. These aren't just clever life hacks. They are acts of rebellion against the attention economy. And in the end, that's really what this all boils down to. This isn't about optimizing your tech. It's about optimizing your life. By deliberately clearing away all the digital noise and the constant cognitive drain that it creates, you finally make space to answer this one simple question. What technologies, what habits, and what activities are actually serving the life you truly want to build? It might just be the most important question you can ask yourself.